before.
You there, Bob?
I'm here. How are you?
Did you hear you?
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear that.
Okay, we
It's
can
very
hear you.
broken up. So we have to speak carefully, but yes.
Okay, thank you.
We're going to begin the meeting then.
Very good.
And call to order, the Blueberry Recreation Park District meeting of September 14th, 2023 at 6:33 p.m. We are going to go ahead and do the pledge of allegiance. Stephen will be.
You stand for the pledge of allegiance. Put your hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And just so the audience understands, the gentleman who is on the phone is not a board member, it is our board attorney, so. Hopefully he can hear us, but if he doesn't, we can still conduct our meeting. Okay.
So far, so good.
Division 1, Kim Gerald Johnson here. Division 2, Jose Luis Medina.
Present.
Division 3, Rebecca Redorsey Burke. Present. Division 4, Edgar Pasquale.
Present.
Division 5, Ross Leisha.
Here.
Do we have any presentations or recognitions tonight?
None this evening, that's what I'm present.
Next, we're going to go on to our public comments. And please note that if you're addressing the board on an item that's not on the agenda, the State Brown Act does not allow board comments or discussion of such items if they're not on the agenda and were thus not publicly noticed. The board may refer such matters to staff or ask to have the matter placed on the future agenda. Anyone who wishes to address the board regarding items not on the agenda may do so at this time. Presentations are limited to 3 minutes and our board secretary will be doing the time. Okay, I will just start with the stack I have here, and I'm going to start with Oscar Cortez.
That's better. You want to? Go. No way can we.
Okay. Which one are you?
Are you?
Okay, here we go.
Thank you. All right, well, thank you very much for allowing us to be here and share our concerns. I'm the president of a nonprofit organization called Triple R Sports. That is the umbrella that runs the adult soccer league that plays at Rancho Grupa Regional Sports Park. We've been there for 13 years. As a matter of fact, we've been dealing with the organization for 15 because we were there 2 years before it was built. We were invited and we have been pleased and very happy to offer this service for all these years to the community. For 13 years, we've been having a fantastic time. People go out there to enjoy the game of soccer for adults, get some exercise, get to know hang out with their friends, and have their families come out and watch them play. It has been fantastic. The park is beautiful, and we've always had a great way to fix problems and issues that come up because there's always issues anywhere and everywhere, right? More recently, though, there's been some changes. These changes have created a shock in the soccer community, and we do not understand why we are being forced to make these changes in the way we play the game, right? I have used my best analogy is if you're playing ping pong on a long table, right? Now the owner of the table comes and tells you, now you need to play on the short side of the table. And that is absolutely unorthodox. And that's what's happening to us. Now, the original understanding that we have is that we're trying to avoid children get hit on the head, which was a very, very rare incident after 13 years, even though we all know that if you go to a soccer park, there's some balls lying around, right? The first concern was that the parents were behind one of our goals, right? Which I understand they are going to get hit. What do they have to do? Just move to the side or go to the other side of the wall because the kids usually train on the grass fields, right? That have lights. So if those parents move to the other side to the wall, they will never get hit anymore. and there's not going to be any conflicts at all. Solution number two that I offer was we can get moved, instead of being next to the grass fields, we can move to the farthest field so that we have field in between us and the kids practicing. But the main point that I like to make today is that after we start our games, which is at 8, we play from 8 to 10. The kids practice from 6 to 8. There's no kids playing when we play. So even if the main concern was the safety of the children, which there's always been other solutions to this kind of issue, which was non-existent. I think, thank you, there are other ways to fix this problem without upsetting the whole community.
Thank you. Mr. Cortez?
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna talk very fast. Thanks. So thank you guys for coming out. I know you guys work this late. Thank you. So just like Mario explained, the soccer community that we have there is one that's amazing. I met my wife there. My kids are born because my wife plays soccer. My older daughter played soccer there. She's playing at college now. So it's all, not that it's 100% because of that, but that helped out. You know, the whole thing, right? The whole family situation. So to put it in perspective, right? I'm pretty sure you guys all have families, nieces, nephews, sons, daughters, cousins, whatever the case may be that play some type of sport. I see a beautiful baseball, softball field right behind us. And if someone gets hit in the head by the ball, are you guys going to change that and make them change the formation of the field? Of course not. And everybody's going to question that, like, hey, why is this being changed? Because somebody got hit in the head. You know, yesterday I'm out there. I'm at that park Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday playing. Yeah, I played, my wife played, my daughter played, we're there every day. My second home. So, like I said, in that case with the baseball analogy, if somebody gets hit, I'm pretty sure you guys are not going to take all your baseball fields and switch the field around so it's safe for people. It's just part of the game. You know, I'm sitting there yesterday, and the kids are practicing, and they have their goals the way we originally had our goals, right? So you're telling us to not play that way, but then they're practicing that way. The goals are set up in the same way, and it's the same thing. And I even took a picture, which I won't show you guys, but I have a picture of some parents that are set up behind the goal. They're not behind the actual goal where the net can catch the ball, but to the side. So they set themselves up. If someone kicks the ball, they're going to get hit. You know, so to me, it's just the point of how you set yourself up. Like I've been in, you know, my daughter that's in college, she's been playing clubs since she was 12, and I know where to set myself up. I mean, I'm walking down the little pathway and I've gotten hit by the head in the bottom of the head, you know. My kids have gotten hit, you know, it's just part of when you're out there. So the thing is I understand that changes need to be made, but at least they have to be fair as well, right? So if we're not allowed to play with the goal set up this way, then, you know, the kids are practicing that way as well. So that doesn't make sense to me. You know, it's not uniform across the board. So that kind of doesn't make sense in that aspect. And again, you know, there's you guys could see on you know, videos online of people at professional games that get hit by balls, baseballs, bats, soccer balls, football, whatever the case may be. It's just part of the sport. You know, nobody wants to get hurt, of course, but you know, there's rogue balls that go in directions or whatnot, and that's just in this case what happened here. And Mario made a good point that that's the first incident in 13 years, at least that's been reported, but it's 13 years, and you know, due to that one incident, you know, kind of makes it to the point where, you know, why is that being chased out? Thank you guys.
Thank you. Michael Bennett?
Sure. Good evening, everybody. I'm Michael Bennett. I do recall sending an email to everyone here, so I'm glad to see us in the same gatherings. I represent one of the teams, many of 80, who participates at this league. I'm going to give a quick background of who I am. So part of what I do on a day-to-day basis is manage the healthcare network across Inland Park. Now, why do I bring that up when we're talking about soccer? The people who gather for games at this field, at this event, are touching the corporate world, or it's really based on a family experience. So when we gather up to, you know, community to formally experience the game of soccer, it's really something that's valuable to us, and it's not just, you know, a game. Two, I think what is happening here, why we have had to come and make this petition is there's a lack of understanding of the game. And I think there should have been greater collaboration from Mr. Kobe in having this conversation on what is the best solution. So what is currently happening with the shift in the orientation of the field from a rectangular structure more to a half quadrant with the shift from a north to south or east to whatever dimension, it has literally changed the structure and dimension of the game where we're no longer playing soccer. Two, the very main issue that's on hand, which is safety, actually just went through the roof because now the teams that are playing, instead of the balls going in parallel direction, which the main focus are the goals, it's not going in the same direction, opposite, which means teams kicking from left to right, depending on the direction, could now be kicking in the direction of other players, which means player risk has now just skyrocketed. Now, a couple of incidents almost occurred in the recent weeks on the pitches themselves, which is great. We're grateful that didn't occur, but it has really shifted the dynamic of the league. It has shifted the way in which the game was played. And I think the attempt to make a solution to fix the safety issue, it's not in the current solution, it's the goal team. It's really keeping how the dimensions of the field were, given the size and the shape and the logistics of the game. And of course, repositioning the spectators, which is the secondary participants or persons who are really the most primary persons involved in the nature of the game. So my petition to the team here is not necessarily to try to say this is where we should go left or right, because I do understand the voice and the need and the appeal for safety in our parks. But I think the current solution on the table, Mr. Kobe, it's not the solution. It is actually making things worse. It's violating the relationship that you have had with a company that has been very supportive and very fervent and investing their time and their energy in the community for almost over a decade, or what's decades of 10, over a decade. And literally, you're really pushing away community members from the involvement, the investment, and the recycling of resources. It's really just destroying morale. So I plead, I beg, I beseech this committee to reassess the decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Fernando L.
Buenas tardes. Primero que nada, gracias por escucharnos. Yo soy Fernando, soy el manager general de Activismo. Y lo principal, lo que nos enfrentamos y queremos pedirle que nos escuchen es que han cambiado el sentido de los campos. Durante más de 15 años hemos jugado de la forma de este-oeste, ahora aquí en Camino Norte-Sur. La verdad que nos han creado más problemas y les tratamos de solucionar con Colby. Hemos tratado de ayudar y trabajar conjuntamente, pero lo único que he creado es más problemas. Debido a que como ahora quiere que juguemos, los balones pueden pegar hacia nuestros jugadores. Entonces,
And can I request that Mr. Padilla mind translating a little bit?
I was just thinking out of my role, and that would be against ethics.
Okay.
Okay.
So I apologize. I apologize to the conference.
hoy ha creado más problemas. La semana pasada justamente un jugador sufrió un golpe por la cabeza. Entonces, la solución de él que nos ha dado es algo, son decisiones que no todos, pues no son, todos los campos del mundo se juega de forma como los jugamos. Lo que él quiere hacer es, pues es ortodoxo, es como algo que no puedo entenderlo porque el fútbol se practica en todo el mundo y pues no se juega de esa forma. Siempre tratamos de estar juntos con ellos, de buscar soluciones, pero no hemos encontrado una solución. Nosotros le pedimos que nos escuchen. Nosotros fomentamos el deporte y hoy en día la juventud, los niños, todo lo que quieren es jugar fútbol. Entonces, si nos dan la oportunidad de seguir jugando como antes, te aseguro que la juventud va a seguir fuerte y va a seguir bien. Pero esa forma que ustedes quieren que juguemos, bueno, hobby, no se puede, es imposible. Lo único que crea es más problemas y la gente está enojada, está molesta. Entonces le pedimos de la manera más respetuosa que por favor nos ayuden a extender los campos a cómo jugamos antes. Pues siempre hemos jugado así, no nomás de un año, 2 años, y se juega así en todos los campos del mundo. No entendemos por qué nos quieren hacer juegos.
Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, Madam President, if I may have a resolution, you can transcribe and translate what the changes
Yes.
afterwards? Like you get it available. Perfect.
Debbie and Emily, would you like to hear that? Okay.
Hi, my name is Debbie Van Emelen. I am originally from Belgium, a professional soccer player. I played my whole life. And we started this beautiful league at your guys' beautiful park 13 years ago. Of course, everybody knows when you go out there to play and you go to a park that is a soccer park, you enter the park at your own risk. It has even signs by the rules that say that. A soccer ball can be kicked in any direction. It doesn't really matter how you play. You play the long way or sideways. It can go out of bounds in any direction. The problem that we're facing now is that the field just got cut. And so not have enough width to be able to play the game of soccer. Because every time you kick it, it will go to the other game that is right behind it. And probably the goalie that is standing in the middle of the field will get hit in the head. It has happened already since the change. And there is other sides to the field where spectators that actually do not pay to play at the park, they could simply go to the side and not be in between all the fields that are connected. All these people here have been playing with us and supporting all the adults, the moms, the dads, to stay in shape and to come and have fun. But we having other people now and teams leave because of the new way that Kobe wants us to play. So if we can please look into it, get it back to where it was, give the kids a solution or the parents to set up on the safe side and know that the kids will leave at 8 when the adults are starting at 8. So there will be no conflict playing the same direction that we have played for 13 years in this park. Thank you.
Thank you. Juan Pablo Soto.
Hi, good evening, thanks to meet you. Going in Spanish, okay? Bueno, mi nombre es Juan Pablo, yo soy uno de los jugadores de uno de los equipos. Vengo porque de verdad estoy un poco desilusionado con esto que está pasando. Voy a empezar primero por la parte sistemática. Creo que el fútbol es un deporte que se inventó hace muchísimos años. Si bien es cierto, se puede jugar 5 contra 5, 8 contra 8, 11 contra 11, pero creo que las dimensiones no se pueden modificar en cuanto al formato y margen de jugadores, porque es algo que ya está hecho y creo que modificarlo de cierta manera nos complica todo a todos. Ya todos se ha dicho, ellos todos lo han dicho, tienen razón. Creo que hay soluciones mucho más simples y mucho más sencillas que cambiar las dimensiones de un juego, donde de verdad a mí me preocupa mucho, por eso vine a mí con mi hermano, porque mi equipo ya no quiere participar en la liga y nosotros de verdad que disfrutamos, salimos del trabajo todo el día y lo único que estamos esperando es venir el martes o el jueves a jugar a Europa. De verdad que para nosotros es una pasión, a nosotros nos encanta, hemos hecho ahí un montón de amigos y de verdad que para nosotros es una pena real que nos digan que ya van a salirse de la liga de Europa porque perdemos esa esencia, ese ratito recreativo que veníamos a jugar. Nos encanta, nos apasiona el fútbol, nos encanta la liga, nos encanta el parque, pero de verdad que nos perjudica bastante a nosotros porque nos están quitando nuestro hobby, nos están quitando nuestro ratito libre para desestresarnos de tanto trabajo, por algo que yo creo que de verdad la solución es mucho más sencilla, como ya todos lo han dicho, se puede mover nada más, casi no hay niños a esa hora, es una hora un poco tarde, entonces casi no hay niños, si los hay, pueden estar también bajo la responsabilidad de sus padres, o otras personas, porque todos somos adultos. Entonces yo creo que de verdad nos están afectando una parte muy importante de nuestra vida, como es el ratito que tenemos después del trabajo para venir a jugar fútbol, por no buscar tal vez la solución más sencilla, que creo que es tal vez la que están ofreciendo, no es la más correcta, y de verdad a nosotros nos duele mucho y nos perjudica mucho, y ojalá, decíamos que por las buenas, lleguemos a una solución donde todos estemos contentos. Gracias.
Thank you. Carlos Soho, if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Ay,
Hello.
Voy en español también. Vine con mi hermano. Gracias primero a todos. Buenas tardes por estar aquí. Yo voy a ser muy breve porque ya todos hablaron, pero yo creo que no se puede, no se tiene que arreglar lo que no se ha roto. Entonces, creo que la propuesta que hicieron para la dirección de la cancha no tienen argumentos, porque es fútbol, es un deporte. No tenemos el control de lo que vaya a suceder en el juego con un balón. Incluso en los partidos profesionales hay balones que golpean a alguien en la gradería donde hay 80,000 personas. Entonces, no tenemos el control de lo que vaya a suceder. Creo que la propuesta no está bien argumentada, no es sensata y no es rentable para todos los que disfrutamos del deporte. Los martes a la noche que yo voy con mi hermano, los jueves, no es una solución como tal. Y creo que si hay niños, si no hay niños, si golpea a alguien, puede suceder, son accidentes. Pero cambiar la cancha no certifica que no vaya a golpear a nadie, que no van a pasar accidentes. Entonces, para mí no es una solución, no tiene bases, no tiene fundamentos para arreglar el problema. Podemos llegar a una solución. A nadie le gusta que le cambien o lo incomoden en su zona de confort. El deporte ya está hecho, 13 años jugando de esa manera, nos van a sacar de nuestra zona de confort. Es como cuando duermes y te cambian la cama y te dicen, ahora duermes boca abajo, no vas a dormir cómodo. Es igual lo que nos están haciendo en la cancha. Entonces, lastimosamente, muchos compañeros de equipo nos están diciendo que ya no quieren participar, que se sienten un poco incómodos, y es lo que no queremos, porque es, como bien dijo mi hermano, la parte donde vamos a desestresarnos, la parte sana, hacer un poco de deporte, y estamos bien cómodos, súper agradecidos con el parque, de verdad muy bonito, con la administración, todo ha funcionado muy bien, pero ahora este cambio creo que nos va a perjudicar un poco a todos y se pueden buscar otras soluciones. Eso sería. Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Anyone, what did anyone else? Okay,
Yeah,
Did
there's one more. I don't know.
you make a slip out?
Yes.
Did you want to speak or no? Okay, I need you to fill out, oh, go ahead and start, I'll get you a paper.
Yes, okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, good evening. My name is Jonathan Cuevas, and I've been playing the league for several years before COVID. I have two teams, Wednesday and Thursday, and all my teammates from both teams have been complaining. The main problem is the size of the field. Now, the size of the field, it doesn't allow us to play like how we usually should be playing. It's a shorter field, so we're constantly hitting each other. We're constantly kicking at one goalie to another goalie. Actually, with the new format, the ball goes out more often because it's actually shorter in length. And what I've been seeing is that a lot of my teammates are very discouraged, and I'm not sure if I'm going to have a team for next season. So speaking from, my side, right, as a coach or as a team manager, I'm sure there's other coaches and other managers are also experiencing the same problems. So I kind of fear if the league will be able to continue if many teams start dropping because of the same problems, because people just have, their knowledge and they're already used to playing the sport a certain way, which is the length, it's the landscape. If you're looking at a piece of paper, it should be like a landscape shape, not a landscape, it should be portrait, right? Up and down. It shouldn't be the other way around, horizontal. So it's kind of weird to play like that. And it is causing problems. So I hope you guys reconsider this decision because, a lot of people do come to play here and they come to play here for like many reasons that everyone else has explained. to just enjoy sport. We're all adults here, and we want to be able to live and experience the sport like we did when we were younger, and continue to play and have some kind of exercise. And there's no other conflicts I've ever seen in the league, but this one modification has been a big impact, and being able to continue with certain players, and that's my biggest fear. Teams dropping and maybe the league dissolving. So I hope you reconsider, decision and come up with a solid solution for all of this. Thank you.
Thank you. What's the privilege of the board? Would you like to give Mr. Duclair any direction on this item?
I'm sorry.
Oh, I said, what's the privilege of the board? Would you like to give Mr. Duclair would we like to give Mr. Duclair any direction?
Yes, I would like to, much of the switch.
It's very,
Okay, good.
Madam,
We're only giving Mr.
You do,
Duclair.
yeah. You can direct general manager to meet with them or bring it back an agenda item in the future if you get a consensus.
I get consensus in terms of, I do get revisiting it, what we heard tonight. That takes, I think that I reconsider and reestablish some of those things that roles that you were looking for and now they presented. Yes, I would like that to be done.
How would this look as an agenda item? Would it be a workshop? Would it be a discussion?
It'd be a workshop. If you wanted to bring it back at this point, we can't go into detail because of the Brown Act.
Correct.
But you can direct myself to meet with the staff, with the presidents of the league, or we can assign it to Recreation Facilities Committee. Or look at potentially bringing it back at the discussion, right? But it doesn't have to be discussed this evening.
Can we bring it back?
that's all correct. Plus, I would add, you should not take any action on the substance of what's discussed.
To see.
I think that it has to come back to the workshop. With information beyond what we heard tonight, but current staff too. So we come back as a workshop or we can sign it. I'm not saying if either one of those.
I'd like to bring back a little.
Okay, how do you feel, Mr. Legion?
Sure.
Okay, workshop, is that the consensus? Okay, if you'd like to bring it back. Good. Thank you very much, and thank you all for coming tonight.
What's the workshop? Sure.
It will be,
It'll be during a regular scheduled board meeting.
and we'll get information from staff about the issues.
Are you asking when it would be or
What-
what
What is it and what would it be? Yeah.
We'll have to look at this kind of calendar as to when it would be, but a workshop makes it an agendized item. That there would be a presentation and there can be then legal interaction between the audience and the board.
So you will be
You will be allowed to participate in the discussion.
As you participated tonight and we ask you questions.
Right.
See, tonight we cannot ask you questions, we cannot engage because it's not on our agenda legally, we don't have the opportunity. We bring it back as any kind of agendized item, we've asked for it to be a workshop. You can come, you can speak, and we can ask you questions.
You meet only once a month,
No, we meet twice a week,
every 2 weeks.
no, twice a month,
The second and fourth Thursday.
the second and fourth, yes. So it probably won't be in 2 weeks because, they have to, or the next meeting, I think is in 2 weeks, but probably the same time next month. It'll be the second Thursday. Yeah, probably the second Thursday next month.
The problem we're facing is that if we wait another month, this whole thing is gonna collapse.
Yes.
We've been trying to reach out to you all via email and texting for over 3 months, I believe. We've never gotten a response from anybody.
Okay,
I seem to advise the board for
Yes.
pushing the limit on the Brown Act.
Yeah. Again, we can't engage with you. We've set it for a workshop and direct the staff to do that for us. Thank you very much.
Can I suggest that in between the general manager meeting?
Yes, I think that's
I'll extend the offer again.
We would love to have a meeting.
With it.
The problem is that Kobe has completely said he's not changing his mind, period.
Well, he is going to extend you an offer for a meeting. If you can take it or not take it, do as you see fit. We will be having a workshop at a future board meeting to discuss this issue.
Okay, we'll take it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. Okay, consent calendar. Does, anyone have any questions on the consent calendar?
I moved to approve the consent calendar.
Do you have a second? Okay. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes 4-5-0. Item 5.1, installation of data lines for security cameras at Skyview Event Center. Mr. DeWitt.
Yes, as the board members, a couple months ago, we approved the purchase of security cameras for the interior of Skyview Event Center. One thing the contractor does not provide is the data installation. With our supply chain delays that are still kind of impacting this program, but it's now, we need to get the data lines installed. Staff has sought bids, and we were able to find 2 contractors that would bid on this project. And we're recommending Precision Technologies for the installation at a total of $8,270.88. And I'd be available to get any questions.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah, in the report up here on camera cabling, it says 13 Cat 5e cables to locations of the drawing, but then down in the quote, it actually lists as Cat 6 data cable. And I just wanted to show clarification if we're getting the updated cable or you're going to go with the old Cat 5. This Cat 5 is outdated, man, so.
For the video cameras, it didn't make a difference in talking with the vendor, but I believe it will be Cat 6. That's just the new standard.
Okay, I just had to notice there was a discrepancy in some of the wording between, part of it, so. Doesn't change the price, I assume.
No.
The camera is going to be like in the entryway and in the big room.
Yeah, if you recall back from the original, it's a total of 12 inside, 1 exterior covering the grass court area over basically every entry into the building, and then 2 in the large room where there is some coverage should we ever need it.
Okay, so all over the front and all around the building.
Yes, up and down all the hallways, so all the main entrances as well as the back entrances back by the kitchen
And all around the outside.
and all, yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion?
I move the board of directors accept a quote from Precision Technologies for the installation of data lines for the security cameras at Skyview Event Center for $8,270.88.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Okay, now we're on to item 5.2, discussion of possible action regarding employee benefits for 2024.
Yes, this is again an item we bring back annually as we get our new rates for the coming year. Our insurance rates are in the calendar year, January to December. We have to start the budgetary process back in February, March, April in preparation for the budget year, which is July through June. Typically in our budget, we're estimating a 10% increase annually. Every year you hear these massive increases that are coming. We have been, for the most part, lucky up until this point. But in front of you, you see some fairly significant increases that have been received by the district through Viva and our primary healthcare provider, which is Kaiser. We've received these across the board. We've had some discussions with the budget personnel committee in regards to this preliminarily. One of the requests from the budget personnel committee was to see if there was another non-Kaiser option that would be available to our employees. Primarily, the hope was the +1 rate or the family rate would be a more affordable option, with the understanding that they may be sacrificing some coverage for that cost savings. We did reach out to Viva, our service provider, and requested that. And honestly, to our surprise, it came in only a minimal savings. I think the comment that was made to Loretta is they're trying to align their rates and comparing coverages So they're more apples to apples instead of apples to oranges, so maybe. So that new option would be through United Healthcare. And I'll remember the name of the actual plan of the Harmony is their plan that they would propose. That was their lowest price plan available. We did reach out to PERS as well, just to see what was available through PERS. We would not be able to enroll in PERS this year if we wanted to, but in looking at their rates for Riverside County, they were about 8 or 9% higher than what's being proposed for Viva still. We are budgeted. There's money in the budget to cover these increases because we do propose a 10% increase across the fiscal year, the entire 12 months, and these rate increases are really only for the first 6 months of it. But these are increases going forward. So the Kaiser rate is going up by 14%, is what has been submitted to the district. That's the largest increase we have seen to date, is my understanding.
In 9 years, I think.
Yeah, we've been in the 4 to 6% range historically. The new rate is listed there for the United Healthcare HMO plan Harmony. Humana Dental, we have not received those rate increases yet. We'll see those until November is what we've been told. And then the vision went up from $7.93 to $11.40. That's a 44% increase. I want to caveat that with it's, less than that's $3, $3 increase. It's not as dramatic over the course of
44 on $7.
44 on $7 is, not 44 on $800, but it is a big number. And then our life insurance is $8 for the $25,000 in coverage. This is the last year that we're locked in at that rate. With our security and our service provider for that. So these are our rates going forward for this next year. We want to bring to the board, discuss it. I know I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of questions because, these are big percent increases and as continuing to grow.
I just had a question. So on the UHC Harmony HMO, it's $749 and it would cost $749 to put another person on it.
And then
There's no.
yeah, and then it's like, it's not $749 to go to the full, $749, it's like $729, I would say. It basically doubled and tripled.
The family plan is whether you have one child or 10 children.
10 children, yeah.
Is so if you take triple this rate, it covers the whole family. And
Whether it be 3 people or 12.
so that's when it starts to work out really well if you want to have a large family.
But if you
don't
don't
have a large
agree,
family, yeah, it's.
and that's how all the medical plans have aligned themselves down. It's a +1 or a family rate.
Well, I think I heard you correctly that you looked at all options, you've made comparisons, I really, having worked with benefits before, I think we all have one form or another. I really rely on the information you are bringing to us. So I'd like to question like it's just right, but I don't see how I can input some information that will help you. It is what it is. I don't quite like that statement, but if that's where we're at, then I appreciate all the research that you've done, and we want the best for our employees, and we want it to be affordable, all those things that we speak of. So I'm really going to defer back to yourselves and do most of the hard work trying to find the best that we can.
And we appreciate that. This is primarily something we're in just the legwork on and researching it. And we get these numbers, and it was heartburn. We're not lying. When it comes to that.
Do we want to offer our employees the Kaiser or the USC or UHC Harmony just so they have a choice? Yeah. We are going
So
to.
that's a proposal. It's not going to impact our budget in anything. And part of the reason too, and I really do think, one of the things the Budget Personnel Committee kind of brought up is there are people out there that don't like Kaiser for whatever reason it may be. And giving them an option, it's not 100% exactly the same coverages, but it's fairly close. There's a difference here and there, what they're going to cover. But if somebody wants that option, or we have employees that don't live in the area where there's maybe a Kaiser hospital as readily as close, we have Ontario, Fontana, Riverside right here. But somebody that lives, outside the area may not be readily available, they may like that other option.
Yeah, I think the word option there, I am a Kaiser myself, and you're getting the question myself. So, I want to speak on a personal basis, that option that you're on, because the key.
Well, and for Harupa Valley, while there are Kaisers located thither and yon, none of them are near us. And Lord have mercy, if you had a 4 o'clock appointment at Kaiser in Riverside and you were trying to bill out Van Buren, that would be an hour in advance. So Kaiser is both somewhat readily available, but not, whereas the UHC Harmony, they might be able to use something in Riverside that is more easy.
Well, so I don't think he's trying to say something.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Do you have an estimated or an educated guess as to how much the life insurance will go?
Life insurance is this is the last year. So it'd be 2024, 25 that we'll see new rates.
Right.
Reality is life insurance is fairly affordable. I don't know what it would go up, and that's something we can shop. That's not through Viva, correct?
No, they did offer theirs, but no, this is Minnesota Mutual.
Yeah. So this isn't even through Viva because this was a better rate. And just this, employees have the option of purchasing additional life insurance at the same rate. As the group, and like myself, example, I've increased my personal 250. It doesn't cost me but a few extra bucks per pay period. And the employees have that option as part of when they're enrollment, they can have that if they want. So
What does the $8 cover?
25.
My problem with this whole thing here, the staff report, is all I'm looking at is the monthly premium and the difference, and that doesn't, to me, tell the whole picture. My company has changed medical providers 4 times in the last 6 years. And when we get comparisons, I get to look at all the numbers. In other words, what it costs for an emergency room visit, what a copay is, what a prescription copay is, and all these things make an extreme difference to me in the number that I'm looking at here. And as far as I'm concerned, without the actual comparisons of what the additional costs are or are not in these plans, this is useless to me. It doesn't tell me anything. And I think future in the staff reports, I want to see what is the actual coverage, what are the co-payment costs, what are out-of-pocket expenses to the employees from one plan to the other, because this doesn't tell me anything. And I'm really disappointed in the staff report.
We only got 30 pages of options.
And I wouldn't mind if I had to sit there and look at them. Because like I said, this does not to me tell a complete picture at all.
Mr. Legia, would you like to get that information and talk about, do we have to decide?
Yes, because my meeting scheduled for our rep is coming down for our benefits meeting on the 4th of October, which is a week from. Well, it's today. Yeah, October 4th.
And we have to confirm at that point.
Because we have to get all of our paperwork in.
Open
They have a limited open enrollment period.
To be perfectly honest, it doesn't matter to me what the coverage is. I mean, I know that the Kaiser plan is a very good plan, is what I've been told. We all know what HMOs are. That is more of an employee issue. That being said, I understand why you want that information. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have that information or we shouldn't have that information. It wasn't as important to me, but I do agree. We probably should be getting that information in the future so that we understand the different plans and what they're getting or what we're getting for them for that cost. I think that's the key. What are we getting for them for the cost? My daughter just started a new government job, and I know that her governmental entity, being a school district, they provide $1,100 a month in.
Is it more of a cafeteria style plan, I believe?
No, they have 3 plans they can choose from. The Kaiser plan doesn't cost them any more. I think it's this Universal Harmony HMO costs them another $300 a month. Yeah, and then there's another HMO that costs them another $1,000 a month in addition to their school district pay. So it's kind of crazy. Every entity does it differently. But I was kind of shocked when I saw that. I'm just like, what?
Well, I can only go by what I know. And my son has Kaiser, and they have to pay all kinds of co-pays and additional out-of-pocket expenses. I have the United Healthcare HMO. I don't know if it's the Harmony or not. And to date, I have not paid a single penny out of pocket for any of my medical visits, whether it's specialist. I haven't paid a penny out of pocket for prescriptions. And those things add up.
Yes.
And that's what I want to know. I want to know, what are we asking the employee to really pay? Because this only tells part of the picture.
We pretty much kept the same plan, so to speak, for consistency the whole time I've been here since before.
I completely
We
understand,
totally
yeah.
look into other
Right, so I just, like I said, to me, this just does not tell the complete picture.
Well, and potentially, this may be something the board wants to early next year, is really when we'd have to start it and looking at all the plans, because it's a much bigger
And
process.
the insurance companies may get together in that time and say, we're all doing this. I understand that, but I would like to know that.
To make sure that you are, for $850, they're paying a $20 copay per se.
Right, if you're paying $800 a month and you've got to pay another $300 in copay compared to paying $0 in copay, you're still paying $300 less a month than the other person. So.
Right.
I understand completely, and we will make sure that's provided.
Well, and we may just have to look past Verbo. Because,
Viva, yes.
I mean, Viva, because I know I also have a family member who's just buying insurance and it's about $690 a month. And it covers most everything. So we may just have to go to a different market.
Those
I
are,
mean, they've been great, but
we're not a large enough agency that we could go to a provider directly and be able to get a great rate. So we probably have to stay within some sort of a buying pool group. But there's other ones out there that we can look at as well.
well, this person is not in a buying pool at all. This person's just a future.
But they're buying it, looks like they're buying the exchange, I would assume.
Maybe.
Yeah. So I deal with that with my girlfriend. I understand how that works too, so.
Okay,
Let
so
me ask, I'm sorry. When I said I defer it back to you, I'm assuming that what we're talking about right here is something that you've already done.
We've looked at all these numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Compared, yeah. So it's,
I've like been very happy with the coverage so far. We've had other people whose spouses don't have coverage, has been in the hospital for extended periods of stay and we pay zero. Not even if I do. The plan we have is very robust. The Kaiser plan, yeah.
When you talk about, we're not paid, maybe here at JRPD, we're not large enough. But is there a visibility in the future of, say, pooling our resources with other districts, other parks departments, where we could all get together, then we are large enough?
so which is
to
what
get
we are
better
doing here.
prices.
So Viva is the San Diego County Teachers Association.
You have to.
And that's what we're part of. We're the only, it was something they opened up to allow special districts in on a trial basis, and we got it. And I don't know if you recall, but we used to have a consultant that came in every year and researched our benefits for us. And every year she came in and said, don't leave Viva, because they'll never let you back in. You're not going to beat this rate. Well, she retired. Maybe what we need to do is bring in another consultant to do this work for us. None of us are a specialist.
Right.
And she comes back and she tells you, hey, the rate you have for the plan you have, it's golden, or you might be able to in today's market look at somewhere
Things
else.
have changed.
Yeah. And so maybe that might be our best path moving
But
forward.
it's my understanding that tonight, we need to get this done tonight. We can't really wait any longer. But I think that's definitely something that needs to be looked into a lot closer in the future.
We understand.
No insurance is a pain, it's expensive. I
And
get it.
it's a specialty
Such
thing.
a thing.
Yeah,
No,
I get that. I just, okay.
Well, I guess, in hearing all that, then that option feature that we would be posing to our employees is just that we've done all that we've said and put us in a bigger pool, all of that said. And now these are the three so that they can, according to their own households, make that decision.
Correct. And I do like that option. I don't want anybody to feel stuck.
Right.
That their only option is, I don't like Kaiser. Because I know if I'm sick and I gotta go to the doctor, I get there Sunday morning at 7 a.m., the urgent care opens at 8, I'm the first one in line, and I'm home by 8:30. I'm fine with that. But if I need to call for a doctor's appointment, I could be stuck waiting. So it's personal preference.
Yes. Okay, so can I have a motion, please?
I move the board of directors accept the new rates for calendar year 2024 as submitted and authorize the general manager to sign all documents.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed, motion passes 5-0. Okay, proposed amendment to cell tower lease at Larimore Park, Mr. Dubois.
Yeah, this is something we received back a couple months ago, and I just kind of sat on it. Hemmed and hawed, and we've been in contact with a cell phone tower consultant.
Is there a consultant for everything?
There's a consultant for everything, and you thought the insurance is a unique thing. Cell phone towers are way out there. We have a proposed cell tower that'll be coming forward at Granola Park, and he's going to be proposing to represent us in negotiations. He volunteered to take a look at this for us. So what this is this is the cell phone tower that's at Larimore Park. And it was approved by the board in 2013, I believe, and the cell phone tower actually went in 2014. And it's a 25-year lease. $1,700 and something a month right now. I don't know the exact number. And there's a 2% inflator on that annually, and it expires in 2039. American Tower owns the cell phone tower, and they are contracted, and they lease out their space based to Verizon is the provider that's on that. I've come to find out through all this, the cell phone companies prefer not to own, for the most part, to own their own towers. It's better maintenance business model. That's fine. American Tower has reached out to us and wants to extend this agreement 40 years from currently ending in 2039 to ending in 2079. The inflator that's in place will remain at 2%. I've come to find that's an industry standard, not really something that you're going to see anything different on any current cell phone towers. The caveat is they want the ability to increase their footprint, their ground lease, which at Larimore Park has that block wall around it, by additional 12 feet, it's 20 foot wide, which gives additional 320 square feet. Should another cell phone tower, another cell phone company want to add their antennas to that site in the future. If that happened, we would be entitled to an additional $200 per month from that point going forward to the end of the lease. With a 2% inflator, yes. That being said, in consideration for signing this 40-year extension, they are offering us a one-time upfront payment of $10,000.
What did the guy tell you, the consultant?
This is lackluster. Was his response. Didn't feel that they were willing to budge in any way. And from his insight that he provided, cell phone companies don't start to worry until they're less than 10 years left on lease. They like that stability, they like that long-term projection. We all understand cell phones are all about coverage. You know, can you hear me now? Nobody knows where cell phones are going in the future. You know, new 5G technology, small cell is kind of the trend. They're still going to need these towers to communicate with the smaller, higher speed towers. Are going to be a little more, not even towers, they're probably not much bigger than that coffee table, frankly. There's a caveat on this that we can terminate it or they can terminate it with 90 days notice at the end of the lease. That stays in effect. There's no guarantee we're going to have a cell phone tower at Larimore Park in 2039, let alone 2079. So I want to bring this to the board and get your feedback on it. If it's something you want to do, I am truly on the fence on this one to make a recommendation. You know, part of me says, hey, it's an extra 10 grand up front. The lease isn't going to change. There's no guarantee that there's going to be another cell phone tower company coming in that would bump it up $200 a month. But then part of me says, well, what if we don't extend it? They don't have that automatic right to bring in as another provider. And now they suddenly get one that this is a high priority for them. If we get more than $200 a month, I don't know. So
I think more to your last point.
Yeah. What is the size of the area that is block walled off right now?
it is, I believe it's 800 square feet. I can look up the contract right now.
Okay, so they want.
I think it's 20 by 40.
They want the potential of another 320 square feet, for only $200 more. Yeah, no.
Correct.
No.
They pay all utilities, all that, nothing
That
changes.
paid of $10,000, I don't wish, yeah, for that.
Lackluster was the term that was used.
It feels lackluster. It just feels like, again, they come in early, wave some, a little money at you and then hope that you'll snap at it. And I don't feel we have to, there's plenty of time. We don't have to figure it out right now. And
What's the teen center?
It's block wall. It's got a small planter where it's got some vines that are growing around it. The tower there does a water tower.
Yeah, we have one in Pomona.
And is there a recreational space around it?
Do you remember the concert in the park there?
Yeah.
It would have been where the stage was in front of you, just to the right. So it's kind of an unused area of the park. It's not taking away anything per se. It's not like it's dead in the middle of would have been a baseball field or something like that.
Did I hear you correctly that the consultant is somewhat sitting on the fence or not on the fence and that?
His was kind of like, he wasn't, I think if I said you make the decision, he would have said no, but I don't want to put any word, and he's not, he was doing this just out of a courtesy. He's reviewing all of our plans for us right now.
Yeah, it's nice.
So.
yeah, I don't ever feel it's necessary. Anybody else? No? Okay, good.
I have
Then,
to bring it forward to you.
right.
Yeah.
We provided that. 5.4, discussion of the possibility of the district forming a nonprofit organization.
Yes, this was something that the board had brought up a number of years back, honestly. And it's always been something that kind of set the back burner here. And as of late, there's been some incidents where the district having a nonprofit associated with us could have been potentially beneficial. So I just wanted to bring it to the board and see if this is something the board still has interested in before we did any work. I've talked to Mr. Owen. I know he's having problems hearing and communicating with us. He does have a history of setting up a nonprofit should the board wanted to proceed down the road. Researched them from other agencies that have a nonprofit arm or associated with the district or the municipality. And there's a couple different ways they set them up, whether it's the board of directors is also the board for the nonprofit, or one or two members of the board or staff sit on the nonprofit. There's a lot of different ways that could be done. But really my question for you is this something you want us to look into further and bring back? It would be a workshop. If you should want to, it would be a workshop where we could propose some different setups of the different nonprofits and how they interact.
You mentioned
With the
you had one
district.
before, I'm sorry, and that you dismantled that. So how long did you have one?
So this was set up, I believe it was set up in about 2003 and was dismantled right before Loretta started with the district. Which was
Oh,
about,
no. It didn't get officially dismantled until after I got on the board.
Yeah, I remember you talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Heather, that was in a drawer sealed away. They said, you don't have to do anything with it because we're not using that anymore. And so that was.
I don't think it ever got officially dismantled.
Right.
Yeah.
And there was, because I remember there was some discussion. A board member at the time was quite upset about where the feather money was going to go and blah, 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 blah. So,
And it was already gone out of bank accounts when I started. So I don't know where the money's went, but I never reconciled the account. I never.
oh, there was still,
used
yeah,
it.
no, there was still money there because I know that Ron Anderson has something to do with taking it away.
Unless he was as outside the purview of,
Yes, it was as a board member of Feather. Yes, but Feather had like two of our board members and some members of the public or something as the board. Which, I would, based on my observations of these kinds of things and seeing other things like this, I would recommend that the board just sit as the board of whatever I'm in favor of the nonprofit, but we should just sit as the nonprofit. We shouldn't have other people sit on it.
Is that allowed?
Yes. Kind of like the board of supervisors is like the flood control district board. And they sit separately as the flood control district board. They sit separately, see, but they do all of these things.
It's very cumbersome, in my experience. I don't see the sense of urgency unless you have a donor that absolutely wants to give it to us and we can't take any money because we're not. I mean, who are we focusing that really is going to be giving these grand donations or grants? Again, my experience has been that it is rather time consuming. There's a lot of compliance to it. And again, I don't know really what our purpose would be to become one. Right now, let's be somebody knocking on the door.
Let me let Mr. Owen back in.
Did you say there is a nonprofit donation aspect to the Bold program?
Yeah, so one of the things that kind of got me thinking on this again. You know, we have 4 different projects here in Rupa Valley that are participating in the Bold program where they're covering their park fees. And part of that through the Concord Municipal Finance Authority is there is a donation made on the district's behalf to a local nonprofit group. And part of it was like, well, why didn't that come back to us? You know, we've always talked about wanting to be able to offer, you know, scholarships for recreation programs or swim lessons or something. And that could be a good.
Are we talking big dollars or are we talking?
The current one that's going to bond sales this week is going to be about $2,000. $2,000 for that would be going to a nonprofit. It's not huge dollar amounts, but that's 40 kids for swim lessons for the summer. You know, for literally nothing that we would have to do.
And we do a lot of the compliance side of things.
Correct. You know, and there's pros and cons. I completely understand that. And that's why, so I just want to know what the board's, you know, kind of case for this is. Is there something we don't want to have any staffing to look into any further? Or is it just kind of, we're fine without it and we can move forward?
Is this something we can use to, like, for the beer garden?
Yes, that's another opportunity. We are contracting with a individual right now that has the truck, it's fancy, but he would like to make a donation to a nonprofit. You know, as a profit sharing, there's potentials there. There's also a lot of grant opportunities out there that we either need a partner with, that's a nonprofit, or is only available to nonprofit organizations.
And the cost for setting up a nonprofit,
I'm sorry?
the cost for setting up a nonprofit.
Bob was gonna look into that for us. The actual filing fee,
They're not much.
but the actual filing fee is not. It's not an expensive
Just
process.
maintaining it and
It's,
keeping on top of it. The officers, really the savvy of how to, and of course that will go to Loretta, how to really manage that money when it comes in. And there's a lot of stipulations that are put on it, so it's not an easy task. And that's why I say, what greater advantage do we have? Or the big money, are we talking $50,000 possibly, that we could put our money, $2,000? I don't think is enough to really put us into a position of a lot of work.
Well, that's just one source of money. Like you said, there's also grants. And I do know a lot of times in businesses, this can happen several times that businesses that come into the community and they're like, oh, and we want to make a donation, 25,000 or whatever. And it just goes to the oddest thing. Sometimes the Red Cross one time or something and just.
so depending on who you ask, it may not necessarily be a charitable donation or a tax write-off of making a donation to the district directly. And that's why sometimes we get some of these corporations that don't want to donate to ours or make it a sponsorship. One of the ideas is if we were to set this up, sponsorships for our events would go through the nonprofits. That's a tax write-off for an agency sponsoring a concert in the park is not necessarily a tax write-off. That's a lot of agencies use or nonprofits as well. So
That was my question. What would the money be able to use or not be able to be used for?
it'd be how we set up the bylaws. You know, typically the ones I've seen for other special districts is to benefit recreation programs for park improvements. You know, said more detailed than that, but or you can set it up for anything you wanted, but that would be the intention, I would think.
Well, it does have to be a charitable purpose, but that would be a charitable purpose to assist recreational activities of the district even. You could restrict it to that.
The thing that appeals to me the most is, you know, right now we're able to get that money for First Five to help pay for swim lessons, but nobody gives us any money to help pay for like anything else. The kid wants to play basketball and can't afford it. If parents want their kid to go to Todd Olympics and can't afford it, we have no way of helping them.
And we could set up where the money, the funds could be used to supplement those things. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Fees from going up, just
I'm sorry.
subsidize it so we don't raise the fees or something.
It depends on how we want to set up. Like you said, if it was, you know, in a perfect situation, it brings in hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. We could, you know, control our costs, but we probably not going to be that situation. But it may be that, hey, through the guidelines we've set up is, you know, your family is eligible to apply once a year. And we, depending on the criteria, you may qualify for 25, 50 or 70, 100% subsidy.
Well, my concern is that you've tried it before, and I assume there were different people at the time, but I think we need to do some footwork before we actually do apply to become a 501c3.
Well, and I don't think, I want to make it clear, my question for the board tonight is, do we want to form a nonprofit? Yes or no? Is this something you want more information on? And we can bring forward some examples of how other agencies have set them up and get from them directly.
Yeah, then I'd say that type of.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to everything. I understand completely.
Yeah.
But the perfect example, and this came up in a general manager's roundtable through Capri about a month ago. That's what kind of got me thinking. Valley-wide and Desert Recreation, both your local have them. They have them set up differently. Complete different models, but they benefit the program. Hayward Recreation Park District up in the Bay Area. They hired an employee whose sole job is to research grants and donations. They're paying this employee, Grants Bay Area, about $100,000 a year. Last year, they brought in $1 million in donations. So everybody's like, oh, yeah, that's good.
Not 2,000.
We understand that's not gonna happen in a situation like this, but there's advantages to something like this. If the board has the appetite for providing, is it going to, I can't guarantee it's gonna benefit us or not.
I like the suggestion you just made that others have already reinvent the wheel, as they say. Let's find out what they do.
If we found one that we liked, my first phone call, hey, can you send me your binding documents and Word documents so I can find a replace, you know?
What's the word called, when you're using somebody else's?
Plagiarizing?
Yeah, government is one giant plagiarizing, you know, there's no such word as plagiarizing in government, it's just, well, they've already done it, let's not
Well,
recreate.
just for guidance and information, I would definitely like to look into this further and get some more information.
I would as well.
It would be a workshop, correct?
It'd be like a workshop, yeah, it'd be a workshop to have some discussion and, you know, not
some
binding.
It sounds to me like it's worth looking into further.
Yeah, Bob, did you want to add anything? I know you had some comments when we talked.
Sure. What'd you say?
Did you have anything you want to add? I know me and you had talked on this
Oh.
earlier.
Yeah, I would say there are some costs in setting it up, but we might be able, rather than me doing all the legal work, we might be able to find a less expensive assistance out there. So, and the other point I was going to make was that the purpose does have to be charitable, but there are several examples where assistance of, you know, in recreational activities is indeed that. And I think you could make it even as specific to say assistance to the board, to the district's recreational activities. If you wanted, it's all.
Let's get the info.
But another example is, you know, this might be a great revenue or a great venue or avenue for future improvements at the Veterans Memorial Wall or something like that too, so.
Right, right.
if people are more apt to go to a nonprofit than donate to a nonprofit than a government agency in many cases.
Okay,
So,
so I think I think we're all in agreement. We'd like more information.
perfect, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. DeWitt, your general manager's report.
Yeah, just a couple quick things I want to update the board on, as I promised, an update on the master plan. This past Monday, the survey associated with the master plan was mailed out. The statistically valid portion of that is mailed to 5,000 residents. As of this morning, there had been 73 surveys received. Those are online. We did decide to run a little promotion here at the district, trying to get people to encourage them to take it. That the first 5 people that took a screenshot of the thank you for completing our survey, the very last thing, that emailed it to us, we gave them 4 tickets this weekend's Latin Heritage Festival. Please announce we had 5 people submitted that. One lady actually said, I didn't do it online, but I wanted to do the paper version. And she sent us a picture of her every page completed. Fine, we'll take it. So we're getting some buzz out there. People are talking about it. So that's encouraging. Talking with the consultants, it's the first 2 weeks is where we're going to get the majority of our responses from the ones that were mailed out. Beyond that, they've thrown it away, they forgot about it, whatever reason, we're not going to get it after that. If we've received enough of the surveys to hit the statistically valid threshold at that point, then we'll open up the survey to the general public. It'll be on a separate database, so they're kept, those numbers are kept separately, but it's the exact same survey. So that'll be available to the public. So it's exciting. The buzz is still there. We've had over 5,000 visitors to our social pinpoint site, 178 unique comments. They were extremely impressed with those numbers for a agency of our size. They thought that we have done very well in that aspect. Other than that, we're moving forward our timeline. Once we get the exact date that we're going to open up the open survey and then close it down, they know how long it's going to take them to analyze all that data, and we'll start planning for the public meeting to discuss the findings. And that would be sometime in November. We really want to get it done before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving. From their experience, Thanksgiving and Christmas, we're just going to lose. We're not going to get people to attend. There's too many other things happening with the holidays going on. So other than that, things are going well. I also alluded to the Latin Heritage Festival this weekend. I hope to see you all there at Bernala Park. We're expecting a very good turnout. I don't know if I lost Bob again or not. We'll just let him back in. We're excited for that. We've got a great variety of entertainment, dancers. I'm most excited. I don't know how to say the name, but the hip ball demonstration.
The Aztec hip.
Yeah,
It's mine.
Mayan, okay.
it's Mayan. Yeah.
Both used to split, but in this
Yeah.
case, they're-
We're excited for that. We get a lot of people calling, tickets are selling. We anticipate most people buying on site. But Molly gave us an update this morning. We have 5 or 6 different food trucks of different nationality, kind of origin. So we're excited for that. So it's gonna be an exciting event, I think. Just texting me now, so make sure he's not something that got disconnected. Are you back, Bob, or not?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, perfect. So we're excited for that one. I know there's all kinds of other things going on.
State of the city.
Yeah, I'll ask that here in a second, yeah. You all should have received your recreation guide in the mail. The staff did a great job on that. There's a number of new classes in there, activities and programs. So we're really excited for that. Registrations, towards the end of the summer, August, school starting, things really drop off. But they pick right back up this week, and registrations are flying through the roof. So we're excited for that as well. So the one thing I wanted to bring up, and Mr. Laser reminded me of it earlier, October 28th is October 26th is our second meeting in October. That's also the same night as the State of the City.
The public one.
The public one. There is the Chamber of Commerce one that's on Tuesday, the 24th at Skyview, but the 26th is the one at Patriot High School. I believe last year we did a special meeting at 5 o'clock, so the board members could attend if they wanted to, or even maybe before. I don't know if that's something you guys want to entertain this year or not, but just so we can notice it in enough time.
I'm certainly hoping to.
Yes.
Our board meeting is the 28th, not the 26th.
The 20
Yes.
28, 26 Tuesday is the one you're talking about.
Yes, I'm sorry, and the 30th is spectacular. No, October,
October.
We're
I'm
talking
sorry,
September.
we're talking September, thank you, I am a whole month off,
Okay, that's why I didn't use best.
that's why I'm off.
Right, we're in September.
So 2 weeks from tonight,
Yes.
would you like to have a, early meeting, so you have the opportunity to attend the State of the City?
Early meeting.
Bob,
Yes,
can we approve a contract at a special meeting?
yeah, why not? Yes,
Okay, we just can't approve budgets or, the CFD annexations at a special meeting, correct?
I can look into that. I'm not aware you can't.
I just want to make sure, we just have our landscape maintenance contract that's potentially coming forward. But having it at a special meeting would be okay.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with such a rule, so we'll have to.
I believe Stand the City scheduled for 6:30.
I think so.
Would 4:30 be available for everybody? Yes. Can I double check?
That's the 28th you're talking about?
Correct, 2 weeks from tonight. That was a whole month off, thank you.
For some reason, I have it in my calendar at 4 o'clock.
I wonder if that was last year. Because last year,
I think we did do it last year.
it's a
Right,
4:30.
because October 28th is the spectacular, but that's on Saturday.
That's on Saturday. That's why I was thinking the 26th. Yes.
That's fine. I just might be a few minutes late.
Okay, not a problem. It'll be tight. Okay, we'll know that.
You're
Perfect.
okay.
Right, awesome. We will set that up then. And then the last thing I just wanted to inform the board, we did close escrow on the property on 37th Street, 2 weeks ago tomorrow.
Awesome.
We went in there immediately, had our contractor come in and scrub the property as best as possible. There was a number of trees that, volunteer trees that need to be removed. There was an encampment set up in a extremely overgrown shrub. The sheriff had recently cleared the property. We had our contractors, a weed abatement also does cleanup of encampments as well. They came in and properly disposed of some sharps that were found on site. We've cleaned it up, we removed everything but 3 tires. And our bee guy spent the night there Tuesday night trying to get rid of all the bees. The tires were in the bees, or the bees were in the tires. They have now been removed as well. And then today, a temp fence was installed, but we had them drive the stakes into the ground, not put them on T-posts. So it's more secure that way. And then there's a gate access, and we've hung a sign that says future park site. Myself and Kurt have met a couple of residents that live across the street. They're all extremely excited for the opportunity. They have some concerns. We completely understand those concerns. We talked about some of those concerns as a board here, but I've made it clear that the residents are going to be involved in the planning process from day one. Letting them know what it is we're looking at. There's some environmental design that we can do to limit the impact of some of the unhomed population in the area. Things we can do to discourage them from trying to set up camp there, as well as security cameras and fences and gates. The number one question is, you're not putting bathrooms in, correct? And I said, that would be. So they're excited.
Someone online today actually said, are we gonna put a splash pad in?
Oh, no.
Well, going back to the master plan, that is the 3 things we're hearing consistently in the master plan is covered playgrounds, more shade, splash pads, and safe walking paths. So it doesn't surprise me that we're going to hear things like this. We're going to hear some negative, but we really plan to be as forthcoming as possible and educating and involving the community in this, because we're all aware that this is such a needed facility in that area. There's not sidewalks, there's not streetlights in this neighborhood. We're gonna have to put both in front of the park. But it's a good thing. It really will be. It'll protect the park, it'll provide security. So the neighbors are excited about that. So we tentatively have our first public outreach meeting October 28th, that morning of the Spooktacular. And then we'll have our second public outreach meeting that evening during the Spooktacular, where people will be able to comment and make suggestions based on, we're proposing three different designs as a starting point, kind of what we did with Horseshoe Lake. And then residents can, I like this, I don't like that, those types of things, and come into a true community input on the ultimate design of it. So we're not set on any designs other than there won't be bathrooms, there won't be a splash pad. That's probably about it. Everything else is on the table at this point. So,
It's not big enough for a lot.
no, it's not big enough for a lot. We understand that, but
Maybe a half court and play area, big table.
correct. So, but the residents are excited. It's gonna be a positive thing for the community. So we're excited about that. So, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. Next is board
Sure.
comments. I'll start with you, Mrs. Byrne. Do you have any comments?
I'm a little concerned, and I hope that we come to a positive outcome with the people that have come today. Because, I know that we've been working hard to have good communication with all our residents and that we're here to listen to them. So I really put that on you, Colby, to make that happen.
Okay, Mr. Leach.
Yeah, looking forward to the event this weekend. I'm very happy to see that we are getting a chance to put in more park areas in the Riverdale area. It is very underserved there. I know it's not the only underserved community, but it is very nice to be able to finally get started on that. I know it's a process, it'll take a while, but it's exciting to get it going. And like I said, I'm looking forward to the event this weekend.
Mr. Kessler.
Yeah, likewise, looking forward to tomorrow's event. It sounds like I've also been hearing a lot of buzz online, social media, so we're looking forward to that with the team family.
Not tomorrow.
Saturday.
You feel he's that excited. He's going to be there tomorrow. He's camping out.
Exactly. And then also excited about the closing escrow and that land being there. So it's something, one of the first things I think when I came into the board that I kind of discussed. Happy to see that moving forward. And I want to thank the residents who came earlier to speak, to give their opinions, and to have that conversation a little further. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Mr. Gavinas.
Yes, so, reiterating, I'm also excited for the Latin Heritage Festival. Been trying to promote it, sending it out. A lot of people saying they're gonna attend for my friends. So I'm excited for that. Been promoting the social pinpoint site too. And a lot of people just walk by the sign and like trying to direct them, like just scan the QR code and then walk away with your phone and fill it out. So that's been good. And yeah, and I want to thank, I wish they would say, but I want to thank community members that came out and voiced their opinions today. And thank you to staff for making all this happen, and looking forward to the rest of the events for the rest of the day.
Okay. I spent Monday afternoon, not nearly as long as I thought I might be. I was asked to film a little blurb for the State of the City video. So when my face shows up on the video, don't get shocked. I'm happy to report it took me 8 minutes to film it. I won't mention names, but it took other people in the community, almost an hour. So I was ready to go. I had practiced. I thought that's what we were supposed to do. Today I drove past Serrano Ranch Park, and funny thing, never noticed this before. The sign does not say Serrano Ranch Park. It says Serrano Ranch. I
It
swear.
doesn't say park?
No, it says, welcome to Serrano Ranch. And it's at a T, so it's like you're coming in and there's this lovely sign that says, welcome to Serrano Ranch.
I believe you, I have never noticed.
Yeah, I just noticed it today and I'm like, now that was done before any of us in this room were around, but just for future reference, we need to make sure the word park, that the developers put the word park on our park signs.
That's funny.
I know, and it's like, because it's, the community is named Serrano Ranch, it really just says welcome to Serrano Ranch. It really does very little to tell people that there's a park there. So anyway, that was kind of funny. Yes, looking forward to the Latin Heritage Festival and the public meetings for the Rubidoux Park. Keep in mind that those public meetings are about that state grant, so we're just kind of moving forward with hoping to get some money for that park. And if we don't, then we figure out another way to build it. I think that's all I have for now. Thank you all.
I put some schedule, so
What?
I'll look later. Something wrong with the mouse, it's being temple.
Oh, okay.
That's.
I swear it doesn't say park. It was at park, it was down below hidden in the bushes. We will now, call, our future committee meetings. We don't have any. Okay, and so we will go ahead and adjourn our meeting at 6:58.
With him for the longest time in Veterans Memorial Park, I said, there ain't no way to lose. Nothing we can find that park.
All right, bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
I know it does have one now,
It does have one now.
but I just,
That's great. That's six.
No.
first time we-
Yeah.